It's the ACC on ESPN tonight here in Littlejohn Coliseum. The Clemson Tigers return to action against the Peacocks of St. Peter's out of the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference. Hi, everybody, and welcome in. Along with Kelly Gramlich, Pete Yannity with you. A Tigers team that'll have gone over a week between games, but even though a few weeks into the season you might think that takes them out of their rotation in terms of ball games, they actually have a head coach who likes to practice and get them in the gym, and he looks at this whole downtime as a positive thing.
It's a good thing for a team trying to build continuity. 8 days without a game, you have a time to get healthy, of course, but work on some things. And so rare during the season to get that long of a stretch between games. I think it's going to be a good thing for Clemson.
Tigers will face the St. Peter's team that's in what you might call a rebuilding year under a first-year head coach, Shaheen Holloway, and they're a team that wants to go up-tempo, but like Clemson, St. Peter's had some depth issues, so you may see even more of a half-court game than you normally would have. But let's focus in on a couple of the key players in the ball game tonight. And they've got a senior guard. Javante Turner has had himself a nice season so far, averaging 16 points a game.
He scored in double figures first 5 games of the season, 20 or more in 3 games. He can really score and fill up the stat sheet. Just 3 points against Maine the last time out, so we'll see if he can recover and put the ball in the basket.
He was their point guard last year. His new head coach wants him to be a scorer, and that's why they've changed the role. As for the Tigers, talk about guys who can score. Marquise Reed, over the past few weeks, he's moved over the 1,000 points mark in his Clemson career, continues to build in his overall collegiate career in terms of points.
It's hard to imagine Marquise Reed could be playing better this year than he did last year, but nearly 20 points per game. He's also filling up the stat sheet with rebounds and assists, 20 or more points 4 times. He's only shooting 29% from 3. That's something I'm sure he wants to improve tonight.
And Reed's been doing a nice job on the glass as well. He's among the team's top rebounders. The guard, who stands at 6'3", is averaging nearly 6 rebounds per contest. Brad Brownell and the Tigers going after win number 6 on the year. He is trying for his 155th victory as head coach of Clemson, and the Tigers team, for the first time in 3 games, will not go against the ball glove in the state of Nebraska. So there's that.
I think that's a good omen considering how Clemson has fared against teams from the state of Nebraska. 2 straight losses, 2 straight tough losses for Clemson, trying to get away from that tonight.
Brad Brownell has never faced St. Peter's in his career. There is the first-year head coach or rookie head coach for St. Peter's, Shaheen Holloway. You may recognize the name. He was a fine player in the late 90s at Seton Hall, and that's where he had served for the better part of this decade as an assistant coach under Kevin Willard. He, as we noted, wants to play an up-tempo style that Kevin Willard took from his dad, Ralph Willard, who was a long-time associate with Rick Pitino. And that kind of action that you see out of Pitino teams, well, that's what Shaheen Holloway hopes for eventually with St. Peter's. He builds this program. Amir Sims and crew will try to take control early tonight.
Holloway, definitely one of the rising stars in this business, a rookie coach. Like you said, coached at Seton Hall, played at Seton Hall. Really one of his first times away from home, now at St. Peter's.
St. Peter's had a very interesting campaign. They snapped a 5-game losing streak over the weekend with a victory at home against Maine. That went overtime. They've had 3 overtime games all at home this season. In fact, their first 3 home games of the year, all going to overtime, a first for their program. Tigers off the tip, starting out with this 5. You notice on the far right, Javen White getting the start in the pivot in place of Eli Thomas. We'll see Thomas as the evening progresses, as White working inside on Samuel Idowu. Can't get the bounce, and the battle won on the boards by Idowu, the 5th-year senior out of Brooklyn, New York. St. Peter's a team that is, again, in rebuild mode, but they've got some guys who can score. Javante Turner, we mentioned him. The man with the ball, Cameron Jones, has been moved to point. And the fellow right there, who's their top inside presence, Idowu, and he goes right to the bucket over White, and the first points of the game going to Samuel Idowu and St. Peter's.
Idowu plays a lot bigger than his size, 6'7", but averaging 14 points per game, and he went right at Javen White with a nice hook.
Tigers playing a 13th game all-time against a team from the MAC, the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference, not to be confused with the other MAC, the Mid-American Conference. 0 for 2 from the field so far for the Tigers. Jones at 6'3" with the ball. He's a 4th-year junior. They've got a lot of guys on this team you just don't see it in Division I basketball anymore that have redshirted within their program.
They do. This is not a young team. Yes, it's a young head coach in his first year with this program, but this team is full of veterans.
Idowu this time over Sims, and the Tigers will take it the other way. Mitchell nearly losing that. Good recovery. Plenty of time on the shot clock. Clemson coming into the ball game, averaging about 67 points per contest, and a guy who often leads the way gets in their first bucket. Marquise Reed ties us up at 2.
And that's pure from Marquise Reed, showing off his mid-range game. And like I said earlier, Marquise Reed playing even better this season, particularly scoring the ball. 19.1 points per game. I don't care what the competition is, that's an incredible number.
Reed averaging 16 points in the past 2 losses against Creighton and Nebraska. At 15 points, 5 rebounds in here last Monday night. White knocks it out. And the Peacocks will have 12 seconds on the shot clock. Take a look at the experience they have inside in Idowu.
They've gone to Idowu every single possession down the floor so far, and rightfully so. He is an experienced big man. At 6'7", a bit undersized when they bring Thomas in, but it looks like they're going to go to him early and often.
Tony Henderson, Tim Clockerty, and Clarence Armstrong are officials this evening. From the right wing, Cameron Jones, who hits him at 43% beyond the arc. That's a long 2, and St. Peter's back in front by a couple.
Jones is feeling good. 17 points and 6 rebounds in their last game out against Maine. He's a redshirt junior, but feels like he's coming into his own this season.
He had missed their previous 2 contests after suffering a hip injury, but he is now looking like he's back in form. White winning the battle on the boards that time with Casey Nadefo. Reed, little fadeaway, and Marquise Reed, one of the things we've talked about he worked on during the offseason, shooting under distress, and that time we saw it right there.
That was from almost the exact same spot as the previous play. St. Peter's needs to learn from that. Don't let him get a mid-range at that spot on the floor.
Jones at 6'3", pretty sizable point guard for teams in their league. Quinn Taylor thought about it out front. They'll reset, 10 on the shot clock. Mitchell defending Jones. Rebound for Sims. Tigers working this early stretch without Eli Thomas on the floor. And a turnover as the travel will be called against the Clemson sophomore, Amir Sims. So Trey Jemison coming in, the freshman out of Birmingham, 7 feet 254, his first appearance as a Clemson Tiger. He's coming off a knee issue, but you see the good credentials for him.
A 4-star prospect, a big-time recruit coming into Clemson. I think all the fans in this building and the coaching staff have been anxious to see him on the floor.
Another freshman for the Tigers, Hunter Tyson, also checking in. Turner losing it, and coming away with it is Reed to the other end.
What a play by Marquise Reed. So active defensively, even out near the half-court line, and just got his hands on that one all the way to the basket in transition.
Clemson's first lead in the early going. Jones around the Idowu screen. Tyson dogging him.
Devontae Turner's their leading scorer coming into this game. It feels like he hasn't touched the ball at all early until that play.
And that time, nice defense. And the Tigers coming away with it. Little crossover by Reed. And an errant pass, but recovered by Mitchell. And he ends up losing it out of bounds. Well, Marquise Reed putting on a bit of a show so far from mid-range. In this case, doing what he does best. Leading the Tigers in steals a year ago. Turns that one into 2. Marquise Reed off to a good start. 3 out of 3 from the field so far.
Marquise Reed has taken his game to even another level this season. The mid-range has been on display. 2 shots that you can see from the exact same spot. And then defensively, like you said, Pete, the leader in steals a year ago turns that into 2 points.
Came into the ball game with 10 steals on the season. Of course, Reed coming off that phenomenal junior year. He was in elite company inside of the ACC.
He was. Grayson Allen now playing with the Utah Jazz. Kai Bowman still playing for Boston College. 3 of the better guards in the league last year. And, of course, that's a big reason why Marquise Reed was selected to the preseason all-second team in the league.
Reed and the Tigers trying to snap this 2-game skid. As we told you, losses back-to-back against teams from the state of Nebraska. A tough one in the finals of the Cayman Islands Classic against Creighton on the week of Thanksgiving. And then, of course, Nebraska in the Big Ten ACC Challenge Ball game here a week ago Monday.
And there's Trey Jefferson's first career rebound. Pulls it down.
And his 7-foot frame obviously impacting things down low. Tyson had it knocked away by Taylor. And then a foul's going to be called. And they will get Idowu with his first
see Idowu right here, just goes right over the back to try to get in the passing lane. That's a big foul. St. Peter's cannot afford to not have Idowu on the floor, so that's something to watch.
First foul in the ball game on either side. Tigers with a couple of freshmen out there to go with the 3 fifth-year seniors. Skara thought about it out high across the lane, and if that's on Idowu, as you noted, that is the last thing that St. Peter's can afford. He has their 2 fouls.
This is huge. David Skara attacking the basket, being more aggressive, which is what Clemson needs from him. And Idowu a little confused about that one. He knew he had 1 foul. Wasn't trying to pick up a foul there. It looked like he got some of the basketball, but that is an unfortunate turn of events for St. Peter's.
Skara coming into the ball game from the line so far this season at 65%. He'll get another try.
St. Peter says, you bring out Trey Jamison, we'll bring out our 7-footer.
Yep.
And Majeur Majak, who's out there now.
He is a lengthy freshman at 7'1", 215. Skara hitting the free throw, so the Tigers build the lead to 3 as Skara goes 1 out of 2 on the line. Clyde Trapp on the floor for Clemson as well. Turner came to St. Peter's from the junior college ranks and actually sat out the first year he was at the Jersey City school, and away from the ball. We've got another foul called, an illegal screen. And so Majak picking up his first, so they're 3 fouls against 2 of their big men.
And you see it right there in the replay. Majeur Majak, he didn't have his feet set. He moved into the screen. That's going to be a foul every time.
You have to see Eli Thomas in this ball game for disciplinary reasons. He was kept out of the starting lineup. Jemison on the offensive end, his first shot attempt as a Clemson player, and that's Majak coming down with it.
A strong move inside. I still think he's going to be a little bit rusty. You haven't played much. You're still just a freshman, but a strong move inside from Jemison.
Nice job that time creating the turnover by Reed as Nadefo was going to the basket. It'll go back the Tigers' way.
And I think you'll see him in short spurts like that again because you're trying to get him in game shape. That time, a big presence inside. We'll see how much we see Jemison throughout this first half.
Brad Brownell excited to get the freshman from Birmingham, though, some game action. We're going to use the rest of this non-conference schedule to prepare him for ACC play. They'll certainly need him inside of the conference. White backing in on Majak. Halfway down, comes out. And that was Nadefo with the rebound. Peacocks have gone a while without scoring. They had a couple of 2-point leads early on.
Nearly a 4-minute drought.
Turner, a little pump fake down low, and the Tigers are going to pick up their first foul in the ball game. Clyde Trapp picking up his first.
Here's Devontae Turner attacking the basket, getting Clyde Trapp in the air, and then drawing the contact. That's a good move from Turner. He is a prolific scorer. We'll see today at 6 foot, one of the smaller players on the floor at all times. He's going to have to be creative in the paint to find a way to score.
Skara getting a breather as Sims comes back out there. Turner, quick catch and release, and he has got some really good ability to grab it and shoot it. He did just there, and we're tied up at 7 apiece. First 3-pointer in the game.
When you're the smallest player on the floor, that's the way to do it. Stay out of the paint. Knock down some threes. That's what Turner was thinking.
Feed and a finish. Big time by Reed and White. And a quick answer for Clemson.
Marquise Reed attacks the middle, draws the defense. A great lob to Javin White, who slammed it home with authority.
Jones sees the double team. Taylor for Nadefo, and that time coming over White on the defense. Nadefo, shot clock doesn't recycle. Jones, couple of threes made on 2 straight trips by the Peacocks, and they give us our second lead change in the early going and retake the advantage.
One of the best times to get a good look at a 3 is off an offensive rebound like that. Cameron Jones in rhythm stepped right into that shot.
Tyson saw the opening, knocked away out of bounds. It'll stay on this end. Nice job by Marquise Reed. Underrated part of his game, the assist.
No doubt. He drew Majak just 1 step up, and that gave him the room to hit Javin White for the lob.
Trapped inbound. You see 14 on the shot clock.
They wanted the handoff there with Clyde Trapp. Obviously, the pass didn't get into Javin White. And here's the replay. Hunter Tyson taking it tough to the rim, but credit Quinn Taylor with a strong defensive play.
You saw the freshman Nadefo there. He's a good-looking athletic player for them. Reed inside of the arc. That's his first miss of the night. And just into the ball game, Dallas Watson, one of 4 freshmen who see a lot of playing time. So this is a team that has some fifth-year seniors and then a bunch of freshmen as well. So they will be certainly a young ball club a year from now.
The best team St. Peter's has played so far this year is that really good Auburn team. Dallas Watson, 9 points and 6 assists against Auburn as just a freshman.
He was one of the few guys who did anything in a game. They fell behind 30-7. That one no good from the corner by Nadefo, but they're able to get the long rebound. They played an ACC team this year as well at NC State, and also went out and faced a good Sun Belt team, North Texas. And Shaheen Holloway says he really liked how they competed against the Wolfpack and against North Texas. Did not like, and as reflected by the blowout loss at Auburn, how they competed down on the Plains. Good job inside to get the rebound on the box out. Here come the Tigers. Running the show as Shelton Mitchell gets a breather, down to 10. Turner defending Reed, fade away at the line, and that is a shot I don't think we saw that much of a year ago.
More mid-range excellence from Marquise Reed, and that time with a hand all up in his face. Marquise Reed is putting on a clinic early with how to knock down shots from the mid-range. 3
lead changes so far, as we're just under 11 to play in the opening half. That's the 7-1 freshman, Jacques.
It's hard to make Javin White and Trey Jemison look small, but Majak is every bit of 7-1 out there.
Rainbow not going to fall that time for Turner. Tigers facing a St. Peter's team picked 10th in the 11-team MAC this year. And Taylor's going to have to exit, some blood around the lip, and that'll bring us to an official timeout. Well, back and forth we've gone here in the early going. Marquise Reed doing his part. He has been a force so far, scoring and assisting for a Tiger team that has a 1-point advantage.
Take a look at this from Devontae Turner coming off the double screen right here. As he starts his motion, Marquise Reed gets caught on Quinn Taylor. He gets caught initially. You'll see it right here. Boom. And that much separation between those two, that's going to give Devontae Turner just enough time to get to his spot and knock down the 3.
Turner's lone points so far. He comes into the ball game for the St. Peter's team at 30% from three-point range. The team, they shoot 31%. That's going to have to be a big number for them tonight if they're going to hang around in this game.
They make nearly 7 threes a game. Like you said, not exactly a gaudy percentage, but they still want to shoot the 3. Only 5 attempts so far tonight.
They were able to score 93 points in their opening game this year. That was the most they'd scored in 2 years. That one knocked out of bounds off the deflection. And St. Peter's will get it back. St. Peter's out of that Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference where Ryder is the favorite, but where Iona College, just outside of New York City, has won the past 3 conference titles. But longtime basketball fans may remember the old ECAC. The MAC is basically an offshoot of the ECAC Metro, New England, and Mid-Atlantic, an 11-team league that's changed over the years. It's been about 30, 35 years since they created it. And back in front on another long-range bomb go the Peacocks. So our 4th lead change so far in the opening half.
And there's Dallas Watson. We mentioned earlier how well he played against Auburn. He's not afraid of playing against these big teams. He's only a freshman, but if what he did against the Auburn Tigers is any indication, he's ready for this moment.
Mitchell extended rest, throws it right into the hands of Nadefo. Tigers with the turnover. Here come the Peacocks. Trying to build their biggest lead of the early going. The feed, Nadefo underneath, and the throwdown by Majak. Really nice job that time by the freshman Nadefo finding the open man.
Nadefo was a bit out of control attacking the basket. Javin White tried to take a charge, but a no call from the official. And that's an easy 2 for St. Peter's, a 4-point lead now.
Biggest lead by either team so far in the opening half. St. Peter's extending that defense. Reed getting the attention of Cameron Jones, but despite his best effort, Reed able to shoot over him. He is already in double figures. He has scored 10 of the Tigers' 13 points.
Marquise Reed has been Clemson's offense so far. Like you said, Pete, 5 of 6 from the floor. And all of those, except that layup in transition in that mid-range game.
Watson, the freshman, we saw him hit a long-range jumper earlier. That time, Majak unable to tip it in. Tigers a chance to tie or retake the lead. Reed crossing over, and that one was about to go down. Comes back out. And Jones restoring order for the Peacocks.
Kind of a heat check situation for Marquise Reed, even though from our position, that ball looked like it was going in. A rim in and out for Marquise Reed.
And Scar will be called for the reach-in foul. That'll give the Tigers a chance to get Eli Thomas into the ball game, but it'll be on the other side of this timeout.
Javen White trying to take a charge. It looked like his feet were somewhat set, but a no call. And Majak leads to an easy 2, converts that for St. Peter's. The Peacocks up 2.
With Kelly Gramlich, Pete Hannity with you back at Littlejohn Coliseum. The Tigers trailing by 2 against the Peacocks of St. Peter's out of Jersey City, New Jersey. If you're familiar with the New York metro area, that's just across the Hudson River from Staten Island. Or if you want to go to Manhattan from there, you go in on the Holland Tunnel. It's the program's first trip to South Carolina since back in 2004 when they played in a tournament down in Charleston. But they have played in ACC country this year, having played and lost at NC State, and this the rookie head coaching season. That man right there, Shaheen Holloway. Well, so far, Kelly, the story of this game has been told beyond the arc.
It has. St. Peter's 3 for 6 from 3. Clemson has only attempted 3 threes, hasn't made one yet. The Tigers attempted a season-low 12 three-pointers against Nebraska. Clemson going away from the 3, while St. Peter's, as you see right there, another 3 from Dallas. Watson is trying to shoot as many as possible.
Watson, the freshman out of Brooklyn, played at St. Raymond's, a proud program, and 29% beyond the arc coming into the game. I think the scouting report maybe isn't telling the story of his prowess on three-pointers. So the biggest lead of the ball game for either team, extended out to 5 by the Peacocks. Mitchell answers, and the Tigers have their first tray.
And that's what Clemson needed right there. Shelton Mitchell's only shooting 33% from 3 this year, and Clemson as a team, less than 30% from 3 the last 2 games. You got to get away from that. You got to find a way to knock down some threes. And Shelton Mitchell, a good start right there.
Peacocks, when they snapped a 5-game skid on Saturday, managed just 63 points on a similar pace, but seemingly with more flair because of what they've been able to do beyond the arc. Watson pulling up, freshman on freshman, as he fires an elbow jumper over Tyson.
That is a difficult shot to knock down for Dallas. Watson over Hunter Tyson, who has 4 inches on him. I've been very impressed with Watson early. He's a gritty player, but he can score it.
Sims, and the fine Tyson from the corner, and the rebound by Taylor.
Great ball movement by the Tigers. Just need to knock that down if you're Hunter Tyson.
Contact near the basket, call, and I think they're going to get the block, and it will go against Amir Sims.
2 attempted charges now for Clemson and 2 blocking calls, and I think that's the right call. First of all, Amir Sims was inside the restricted area, and he never set his feet completely. That's a good call for a block on Amir Sims.
And we should note, St. Peter's has been able to take a lead of as many as 5 points with their top big man, Samuel Idowu, having exited at about the 14-minute mark, 13-minute mark or so, with 2 quick personal fouls.
Notice how much they went to the 3 after Idowu went to the bench. I think they wanted to go to him early, and that was obvious. But the guards have really stepped up for St. Peter's in Idowu's absence.
Quinn Taylor at the line, 72% this season. He'll try to make it 1 out of 2, and let St. Peter's match its biggest lead of the early going. Can't get either to fall, and the rebound by Elijah Thomas, who did not start tonight for disciplinary reasons, but he's out there now, and no doubt they'll start trying to feed the big man on the offensive end. Or get a runner out of Reed. There's Thomas on the rebound, and 1.
And that's why you need Eli Thomas in the game. What he brings, not just offensively, but grabbing rebounds and going up strong. A good finish by Eli Thomas. He makes an impact right when he gets on the floor in his first couple minutes, or first couple seconds really of action. he finds a way to get a 2 and a free throw coming.
First foul on Nadefu. And now 4 on the St. Peter's team. And Elijah Thomas coming in off a 16-point effort to lead the way for the Tigers against Nebraska in that loss. And the big fella's done a nice job from the line, 64%. He's got his first 3 points of the night, back to a 1-point game.
Eli Thomas, the first player in Clemson history from the state of Texas on the men's side. I am from Texas, played at Clemson,
Yes,
so
you are.
There's some on the women's side as well, but good to have a fellow Texan in the gym tonight.
We'll give Thomas credit for first affecting that shot, then coming away with the rebound. Tigers try to retake the lead after St. Peter's was up by as many as 5.
Again, you see the effect of what Eli Thomas does.
Jones taking it away, other end, blocked by Thomas, rebound Turner. And the Peacocks will reset. Nice defensive effort that time by Cameron Jones, came in with a half dozen steals on the year. Texas on the minds of Clemson fans. They're about to play their second football game in the Lone Star State this season with their Cotton Bowl invite. Watson giving in the corner and a swish. Nadefu, he played at the same high school as Stephon Marbury. Kind of looks like Starberry right there with that range.
St. Peter's 5 of 8 from 3. That is a ridiculous number, shooting 63%. Clemson has to run those shooters off the three-point line. You can't let them get threes. Anything but a 3 at this point with how they're shooting the ball.
Tigers coming in defending the 3 at 34% this year. And St. Peter's taking advantage of it. Amir Sims able to bank that one in, back to a 2-point game.
Amir Sims' first points of the game, just his second shot attempt. He has to be a bit more aggressive. They need him to score at a higher clip, and he's very capable of it, but you'd love to see more aggressiveness from Sims.
That time a little bit too aggressive by Shelton Mitchell. Amir Sims, he's got to help out on both ends of the court. Let's take a look at an example of that.
Amir Sims, a great block here. He gets a little piece of the basketball, and then back on the offensive end, going up strong for the bucket inside.
15 on the shot clock. St. Peter's playing patiently in this game. Jones might have thought about it. Look at the move by the freshman. Nadefu gets his own rebound. Shot clock doesn't recycle. Let's see if Turner realizes that. I believe he does. Little step through, and he won't get the roll, and Thomas able to come down with it.
Eli Thomas has already altered 2 shots and has 4 rebounds in 5 minutes. That is what Eli Thomas does for Clemson.
Mitchell, and he's fouled. Shelton Mitchell will have free throws upcoming. Tigers trailing by 2 against St. Peter's out of the match.
Take a look at this offensive possession for Clemson as Marquise Reed brings the ball to the top of the key, comes off a screen from Eli Thomas, and then if we pause it right there, boom, you've got 1 defender and 2 Tigers. He has to make a decision. He's too late getting out on Shelton Mitchell, and Shelton Mitchell, a good 3-point shooter, knocks down that open look.
Tigers needing that out of Mitchell, and senior out of Waxhaw, North Carolina. Recently went over 950 points in his career. He's got better than 750 as a Tiger, and he looks to add to both those totals as he goes to the line. And Mitchell once again right up there in free throw shooting, 78% on the year.
Clemson knew with the departure of Gabe DeVoe that you'd have to find some more scoring from the guard spot. I think Shelton Mitchell has done a really good job so far this season of stepping up when it comes to putting the ball in the basket. 10 or more points in every single game this season. 13 points last time out against Nebraska. He's made scoring more of a priority.
And right around 3 assists per game, gets 1 out of 2 on that effort. And on the night, Clemson now 3 out of 4 from the line, back to a 1-point game. That 4 lead changes. That feed inside, Taylor couldn't finish. Really good look, but there was once again Thomas to alter the shot.
And against a team like St. Peter's that is generally undersized with their guards, Eli Thomas is so important inside. He's going to have even more of an effect defensively.
Sims unable to convert. Look at trap fighting inside. He put that one off the glass over the hand of the 7'1" Majak.
What a rebound from the 6'4" Clyde Trap to Sky for that board. And he, I think, is the most athletic guard on this Clemson roster. That showed on that rebound right there.
5th lead change in this opening half. Turner knocked away. Sims scrapping for it, and he'll knock it out of bounds.
Great hustle from Amir Sims. We know he can score it, and he's looked good on the offensive side of the ball, but that was good hustle from Sims. And here's the rebound from Clyde Trapp. Look how high he got, basically even with the rim, and puts it back for 2.
Trapp with 16 points combined, 8 apiece in the losses against Creighton and Nebraska, but at 6'4", really battling inside. Ooh, look at that. Turner does his best. Marquise Reed on a little turnaround fadeaway.
That's an impressive look from Devontae Turner. Again, undersized, had to use the fadeaway to get a good look. He has 5 points now for St. Peter's.
Averages 16 to lead the way. Feed to the big man Thomas. No, Majak couldn't control. Thomas. Oh, Majak from behind. They'll say it's clean. Here comes St. Peter's.
That was a rare 3-on-1 situation. 3 defenders and 1 Eli Thomas. A lot of contact, but no call.
Boy, a St. Peter's team that's been draining the trays. Another 3-pointer for them. They are 6 out of 9. And Cameron Jones knocking down his second of the night. He's 2 out of 2.
That is a simply unconscious number for St. Peter's. And Clemson's only hit 1 3. It's a massive difference from beyond the arc.
Peacocks have led by as many as 5. A little shovel by Mitchell as he went right past the defenders. And Majak, 7'1" freshman, realizes he should have come over to help out on that play, and he didn't.
Even though St. Peter's is all about the 3 right now, Clemson is not falling for that trap. They're playing their own game and getting what they want on offense.
Reed defending Turner. That's a good matchup for the Tigers. They've got their best backcourt defender on the top scorer for St. Peter's. Jones, little step back. And battling inside, the freshman at Efo had it knocked away. Good job by Trapp to stay with it. Mitchell. Can't get it to go. Bodies hit the floor. Majak and Mitchell. Here comes Cameron Jones.
St. Peter's tried to take advantage when Sheldon Mitchell was on the ground. Had a 5-on-4 situation, but couldn't capitalize.
FC closing in on a minute to go in the opening half of play. Tigers playing their first home game here since the win against Sam Houston State back before Thanksgiving. Trapp, he has been cleaning up the boards off that Turner miss. Chance for Clemson to tie or retake the lead. Reed ahead of the line for a couple of free throws. 6 fouls so far on St. Peter's. They'll give Cameron Jones and crew credit. They are firing away.
They are. 6 threes so far. And then here offensively, Clemson opting for the 2-pointer as Sheldon Mitchell had an open look but wanted to attack the basket. And that's what Clemson's doing right now. Yes, St. Peter's is bombing it away from 3, but Clemson, I think, has emphasized, mainly lately, to focus on getting mid-range and good looks inside, and the Tigers are sticking with that strategy right now.
Reed 84%, first trip to the line tonight. He or Mitchell will probably be the guys who lead in free throw shooting, but right now the Tigers' foul shooting leader is that man right there, Amir Sims at 86%. Sims getting a breather. Reed 2 out of 2, building on his point total, having a fine night with 12 so far. We're tied at 28. And, well, on the season, suffice it to say, St. Peter's has upped the credibility of their 3-point shooting so far.
That's why I use the word unconscious, because that's not normal when you shoot 31% from 3 and you're 6 of 10, but that's how basketball goes sometimes. St. Peter's is on fire.
Tigers trying to go 13-0 all time against teams from the Peacocks Conference, and that time an unforced error by Devontae Turner.
One thing St. Peter's has done really well in this first half, only 3 turnovers until that one right there. So 4 total turnovers in the first half. They haven't succumbed to Clemson's pressure. The lack of size at the guard spot hasn't bothered them. They've taken good care of the basketball.
It's the Peacocks team that gives it up over 16 times a game, and keep in mind, Clemson forcing 14 turnovers a contest, so that does speak to the ball control so far. Shot clock off. Tigers going to set up for one final bucket here before the break and try to lead once again at the half of the ball game. Reed, 12 first half points. Taylor takes it away, and then the reach-in foul with 2.9 to go on Marquise Reed. It'll be just the 5th against Clemson, so it'll be an inbound and shoot situation. Each coach does have a timeout to burn. Let's see if Shaheen Holloway uses his. It does not appear he will. Tigers' season low in first half points had been 31 against both Akron and Nebraska, but on the verge of going below that here against St. Peter's. Turner from half court. just off to the left, and we arrive at the break back where we started. A tie game, an opening half in which we saw a half dozen lead changes. And St. Peter's coming in at 2-5. They just snapped a losing skid over their past couple of ball games, but able to come in here with a head of steam so far.
6 threes for St. Peter's. Clemson has to guard the three and shoot the three better in the second half.
28 all our score at the break. Back to Littlejohn after this. Teams are warming up for half number 2 in a 28 all game. And along with Kelly Gramlich, Pete Hannity with you back here at Littlejohn Coliseum. As they say, college basketball these days is pretty much all about the three. 28 points so far for St. Peter's, 18 of them coming from beyond the arc.
They've been tremendous from three-point range. Take a look at a number of these threes. Devontae Turner got them going early with a corner three, and they just kept going. Dallas Watson, he has 2 threes tonight. There's one of them, the freshman for St. Peter's. That's his second three right there. We have so many threes to show you because St. Peter's was just prolific from beyond the arc. Casey and Defo getting in on the action as well. And Marquise Reed has chosen to do his damage from the mid-range and from inside the paint. And here's Marquise Reed getting out in transition with that steal. And then, as I said earlier, putting on a mid-range clinic with how he's attacking the St. Peter's defense and knocking down mid-range jumper after mid-range jumper. The only time they really put a stop to that was that final possession where I think he dribbled the ball a few too many times.
Reed has 12 of the Tigers' 28 points, so nearly half of Clemson's effort. Eli Thomas sat for pretty much the first 10 minutes of the game, but when he came in, he was a factor in a lot of areas.
His impact was felt, as we said, 3.6 rebounds in 8 minutes. That is tremendous production in such a short amount of time. He also had a block as well. Clemson's going to need a lot from Eli Thomas in this second half.
Elijah Thomas at 11.1 points per game and 6.6. Marquise Reed, meanwhile, well, you see the numbers, and again, he has nearly half of the Tigers scoring, and that's obviously something that need more balance. In fact, the next closest player scoring-wise has a mere 6 points compared to the dozen already scored by Reed.
Marquise Reed, an incredible first half for him. I think Eli Thomas, if he plays more in this second half, which we assume he will, he's the guy that needs to step up offensively, as well as Shelton Mitchell. Like we told you earlier in the broadcast, 10 or more points in every single game this season for Shelton Mitchell. Right now, 6 points on 2 of 4 shooting. I think you need a little more production, a little more aggressiveness from Shelton Mitchell on the offensive end.
Shelton Mitchell will become yet another Tiger veteran to reach 1,000 points in his career. Of course, last year you had Reed get there and also Dante Grantham. St. Peter's and huddled around their coach Shaheen Holloway, and we noted he's a rookie head coach. He'd been an assistant at his alma mater, Seton Hall. Now this is the first ever meeting between the Tigers and St. Peter's, but a Clemson team faced Shaheen Holloway as a player back in the late 90s when the Tigers went up and took on Seton Hall up in the Meadowlands, of course long before Brad Brownell arrived. And we'll delve more into that story in just a little bit, but Holloway had some interesting things to say and has some interesting connections. Meanwhile, Brad Brownell facing the first of what you might call the New Jersey portion of the schedule. St. Peter's based in Jersey City. Tigers Saturday will play just down the road from their campus in Newark against Mississippi State. But Shaheen Holloway noting that when he played that game in the late 90s, it was the worst he played as a collegian against the Tigers. And it was a ball game that Clemson ended up winning by 3 points. But he had a great career for Seton Hall in the late 90s. Brad Brownell and company, meanwhile, well, he's going for his 155th victory and trying to make it back-to-back NCAA appearances. Had not faced St. Peter's in his career until tonight. And the Tigers play Mississippi State in the Prudential Center in Newark on Saturday, and they will be just down the street from a player they've signed from up that way, Alamir Dawes, who is from Newark, New Jersey, played at the same high school as Shaheen Holloway, St. Patrick's, and has quite the connection to the coach of St. Peter's, Holloway, who basically says he's like a nephew to me. I've known him since he was a young guy because his guardian and I are best friends. And so Shaheen Holloway, another connection between him and Clemson, and he's got another interesting one, as well as Turner goes to the bucket, and he'll head to the free throw line. And so right out of the gate, Devontae Turner and St. Peter's coming right at the Tigers.
Devontae Turner, a strong attack, got Marquise Reed in the air. He's done this twice when he gets in the paint. Because he's undersized, throw a pump fake, get the defender in the air, and he draws contact almost every time.
Turner having a good night. That foul against the Tigers. Reed. He knocks it down. And then one final note on that man right there, Holloway. In the summer of '99, he goes out to Indianapolis to train to get ready for his senior year. He was considering jumping to the NBA, and his roommate out there was a former Tiger he had faced as a player, as we'll have free throws upcoming for Reed, Harold Jamison. So he's become good buddies with Harold Jamison over the years.
What I've gathered from all of this is it's a very small world.
Yes,
that's
it
what
is.
I've gathered. And here's
yes, it is.
Marquise Reed drawing the foul on the three, heading to the free throw line. And that's not the guy you want to put on the free throw line if you're St. Peter's. 84% from the line. Tigers all-time leader in free throw percentage.
And just a nice stroke for Reed. Building on the good ball game. 15 points against Nebraska. Before that, he had 27 against Creighton. And at the pace he's on, he might be able to shatter his career high of 28 that came in the ball game against Virginia Tech.
He has 14, possibly 15 points with this free throw, and that was his first three-point attempt of the game. He has really made a conscious effort to attack St. Peter's from the mid-range, but looks like he might take a few more threes in the second half if that first possession is any indication.
So each team with a three-point play, not involving a shot beyond the arc to start out this second half. Tigers going with the pressure that worked so well to get him back in the game against Nebraska. Looked like that time Nadefu kind of got caught with indecision while he was in the air, and it's rejected out of bounds by Sims.
If you come in not knowing if you're going to pass it or shoot it, I think Amir Sims is going to handle the situation. That was not the strongest attack ever, I'll say, and Amir Sims put that ball in the stands.
6 blocks on the year for Sims at the start of the night. Tigers a little bit more aggressive in the half-court defense. Reed almost picking the pocket of Turner that time.
It feels like they've really picked up the defensive intensity in just this first minute of the second half.
Turner, nice pass underneath. Nadefo, though, traveling with it. I don't think he was expecting it. What a good idea by Turner, who was their point guard a season ago. But the turnover by the Peacocks.
And again, that was Ndefu, who's a freshman. A little bit of indecision inside, not knowing if he wanted to pass it or shoot it. That was 2 consecutive times where he showed that.
Sims thought about the elbow jumper, working in on Idowu as those 2 fouls. And Taylor takes it off the floor. So you've got to think Idowu had it preached to him by the coaching staff at the break. Don't be too aggressive here.
And if you're Clemson, I think you preach go at him, because if he can pick up that 3rd foul, you can effectively take him out of the game for most of this contest so far, which would be huge.
Turner. Wow. I'll tell you, the ball games we've seen in here, this is the 4th we've done so far this year. He catches and shoots as well as anyone we've seen, and that includes some players on a Citadel team in which that's their style of play. But Devontae Turner having himself a fine ball game. He has scored all of their points so far in the second half. Mitchell, as he did earlier in the game, able to come up with an answer.
Sheldon Mitchell said, I see your 3 and I'll make one of my own. And Sheldon Mitchell, the only Tiger right now that's made a 3. He's made all 2 of Clemson's 3s. I think Coach Brown would like to see him continue to shoot from beyond the arc.
Boy, Reed getting a workout defending Turner. Splitting defenders? No. Taken away by Reed. Clear court ahead. Taylor trails. Reed puts the Tigers back in front.
And that's one way to counter what Devontae Turner has done. He shot the ball really well. 11 points for St. Peter's. But again, he's undersized. If you pressure him near that half court, you bring out Eli Thomas, a 6'10 big, as part of that trap. That's really tough for Turner to make the right decision and see out of that trap.
7th lead change in the game. First one here at half number 2. Dangerous pass that time. Shot clock coming up on 5. The heave by Turner. If that had gone, they might have wanted to buy a lottery ticket before he left South Carolina. So for the first time of the half, he misses. Skara. That would have been a big, big basket to build some momentum, and it would have given Clemson their biggest lead of the game, but Peacock's able to get a hold.
That was a great look by Marquise Reed to find David Skara in the corner. Scar had a good look, didn't go in, but that's the kind of three you need right now if you're Clemson, you're trying to build a lead.
Nadefo. Easy rebound for Thomas. I don't think that's the shot that Shaheen Holloway wanted to see. See the work just to the right of the lane. Sims comes up with it. Shot clock coming up on 10. Dowu trying to deny the feed pass to Thomas. Mitchell in traffic. Ooh, good job that time by Nadefo. Other end, Taylor off balance. Tigers recovering defensively. Sims and Skara. Here's Reed on Idowu. Not going to go down that time. And Idowu rather. And that time he altered the shot.
A tough shot by Marquise Reed. I'm not sure if Brownell would have preferred that he pulled that out. They run some offense. I know you have numbers, but that seemed forced from Marquise Reed.
Get it back in the hands of the guy who's number one on your scorecard and is in double figures in scoring, Turner. Ball goes left wing, Jones, and he's been stroking it too. And boy, Cameron Jones having himself some kind of night. And he's in double figures as well.
The other thing about these threes, 8 of 13, which is ridiculous as we've said. I don't think a single one of their three-point makes has touched the rim. They've all been pure. They are shooting at just a ridiculous clip right now.
Jones 3 out of 3 beyond the arc. Like Turner, he has 11 points. That one left short by Thomas, and it comes down to Cameron Jones. Jones, a fourth-year junior out of Fairless Hills, Pennsylvania. He's a good scorer in high school. He had better than 1,200 points, and we've seen his ability, and that's him with the ball now. He's going to try one beyond the arc. First time he's missed tonight. Good scrappy play, though, that time by Idowu. And they get the fresh shot clock.
When you're 3 for 3 from beyond the arc, you just feel like you can't miss. That was a heat check moment for Cameron Jones, but I imagine he keeps shooting.
8 out of 14 beyond the arc for St. Peter's. Tigers just 2 out of 8 on three-pointers. This one for Taylor, and that's an air ball. It'll come down to Sims.
Just as I say, all their makes have looked pure. You get an air ball from 3.
Sims from long range. And a battle inside, and as the freshman Nadefo went up for it, Eli Thomas got him, and they'll go the other way. Timeout on the court. Shelton Mitchell able to knock one down, but Cameron Jones and St. Peter's feeling it here in the upstate of South Carolina.
Presence in the paint, but what about up near half court? You see this situation here from St. Peter's. Eli Thomas, there's a ball screen action. He's going to stay and trap. They come down. You can see Amir Sims can guard both of these guys, and that big frame from Eli Thomas disrupts the ball handler and leads to a steal.
Signature of these Brad Brownell teams, that good half-court defense. Marquise Reed able to run out. Reed so far doing his part. He has scored 17. Thomas coming off the bench, and he's had a role both defensively and in terms of rebounds, but has managed just 3 points against a much smaller lineup. See if that changes in this next sequence. St. Peter's has led for better than 13 minutes in this game. 1 point advantage with the ball. Oh, nice feed that time, and a real good finish, but what a pretty look by Devontae Turner. 3 assists per game for their leading scorer, and Idowu able to get into the scoring column and back out to a 3-point advantage for the visitors. Skara. Little baby hook with the right hand.
Beautiful move by David Skara, and he's a player that's been so efficient this season for Clemson. 46% from 3, shooting really well from the field as well. You'd like to see him be more aggressive offensively because he's been so efficient with how he shoots the ball.
Trapp now defending Turner. Under 10 on the shot clock. Jones around Skara. Inside it goes. Nice job by Hunter Tyson to force the turnovers. The shot clock was winding towards 0.
Hunter Tyson getting in the passing lanes and leads to some transition action for Clemson.
Jones committing St. Peter's second foul of this second half.
And here's Devontae Turner attacking the basket. It's such a weapon for him to have Idowu inside. A no look. He looks at the rim like he's going to shoot it. And that's what gets Eli Thomas off the ground, and an easy dish to Idowu.
Shane Holloway, their head coach, hinted that as the year goes on, he may use Turner more as a point guard, but he really wanted him more out on the wing, not having to distribute. But the fact that he uses 3 guards, he says, it really doesn't matter because I want 3 guys making plays, finding guys open when they're out there on the wing. Reed ties us up at 39.
If I'm Coach Holloway, I want the ball in Devontae Turner's hands as much as possible. He has made things happen today offensively for St. Peter's.
Diminutive at 6 feet, but holding his own against a Power 7 conference team tonight. 25 points in their opener against Lafayette. His career high at 35 points in a conference game against Ryder last season. Tyson doing good work on the boards that time. Tigers trying to give us our 9th lead change of the ball game, and Thomas is the man to do just that.
2 times Hunter Tyson has made a defensive play or a rebound that's led to an easy 2 for Clemson. He's doing good work defensively as a true freshman out there for the Tigers.
Watson, one of these St. Peter's freshmen with the ball, giving it away to another of those first-year players at FO. Idowu back out high. Watson. Turner. See some big bodies come out to defend. Jones catches and fires, and after making his first 3, he's missed a couple from outside. Thomas spinning on Idowu and one. That'll be the 3rd on Samuel Idowu, the closest thing that these Peacocks have to a true big man. And the Tigers have their biggest lead of the game and an opportunity to add on. So a Tiger team that's been starting to go inside, and it's worked.
Eli Thomas getting great position inside and finishing with contact. Again, great position, made himself big in the paint, and scored it for 2.
Tigers have built the lead to 4. Thomas will try to make it 5 when he goes to the line. You know, perhaps we're witnessing the taking of a Christmas card picture right here. We might see it in the process, a Christmas card selfie. Who knows? Tigers hoping to continue to have holiday good cheer and get back actually into a better Christmas spirit, looking to snap a brief 2-game skid. And Elijah Thomas has a chance to build on Clemson's biggest lead of the night, complete a 3-point play. With Kelly Gramlich, Pete Hannity with you back in Littlejohn Coliseum. Thomas didn't start, but has picked up the offense here in the second half. Knocking that one down, so the Tigers senior out of the Dallas area. Now building on his point total, and he has 8 in the game. So we've seen Clemson adjust defensively over this last sequence. What have you seen? Well, you saw Skara knock it away, and now a foul is going to be called on Jones. But the Tigers have been doing some things differently to slow down St. Pete's.
Some of it is just flat out better on-ball defense, like David Skara right there. And some of it, too, you see David Skara aggressively getting over that screen and then getting his hands all up in the basketball. But what Clemson's done, when you see a ball screen up high, Eli Thomas will hedge for a second. Generally, a post will hedge for a second and slip back and get his man. But Clemson's sticking with that hedge and trapping smaller guards up near half court, making it more difficult for St. Peter's to make plays, and I think that strategy has really paid off in the second half.
Thomas caught it and gave it away with one hand while in the air, trap, and then Thomas underneath, and Turner comes away with it. Good scrappy play by the Peacocks to pack it in defensively. So St. Peter's now has sent Idowu to the bench after he picked up that 3rd foul, but they played without him for most of the first half and were tied at the break against a much bigger team. From the corner, a much-needed tray knocked down by Dallas Watson, the freshman having a good night.
And they were able to play without Idowu because of that, because they were knocking down threes at such a high rate, and still 9 of 17 from 3 on the game, and Dallas Watson has 3 threes himself.
Contact inside, travel going to be the call, and Dallas Watson with that 3 now is a new career high in his early days with St. Pete's with 11.
Attack baseline and look opposite baseline for your shooter. Dallas Watson rotated down, made himself available, and knocked down that shot.
And he's enjoyed the big stage, has Watson. His previous high was a 9-point effort you'd mentioned earlier, Kelly, against Auburn. St. Peter's noting in their game notes this is the last time they're getting on a plane in the regular season during the non-conference, having made trips down to Raleigh and also to Auburn and also out to Denton, Texas to play North Texas. But for the most part, theirs is a bus league up there in the Northeast in New York and New Jersey and Connecticut. And that time, the foul inside. Majak picking up his second, and now 5 here on St. Peter's. And Shaheen Holloway not real happy with that. In the opening half, they were making it happen offensively. They've obviously struggled to get some scoring done here in half number 2. As the Tigers have taken the lead, but St. Peter's hanging around, down by just 2 after we were tied, 28 all to break.
They've cooled down a bit from 3, but they're still shooting the ball pretty well. 3 of 7, 43% from 3 in the second half.
Mitchell, little runner, and the battle for the rebound inside. They're going to get Skara coming over the back of Taylor. So on Skara, that'll be another foul. He now has 2. The Tigers have 3. Clemson was able to build that lead out to 5 points because, as you just noted, St. Peter's went cold there for a stretch from beyond the arc. And again, if they're going to have any chance to win this game, they're going to have to hit another 3 or 4 more threes at least. Turner almost got too far under. Nice job that time by Watson. Coming up on 5 on the shot clock. Watson sees that hedge come, and travel will be the call. So turnover-wise, after a clean first half, those are beginning to mount. That's the 9th on St. Peter's. Tigers have given it up 8 times.
And you see what that defense does. If you bring an extra defender, if you bring size to these guards, what Brownell is banking on is that, A, they're young, so they might make the wrong decision, but B, they just don't have the size to see over a guy like Eli Thomas or a bigger swingman like Amir Sims. And that time, his bet was right.
Taylor defending, and they're saying Reed stepped on the baseline. Oh, they're going to say a wraparound offensive foul on Marquise Reed, so that is his 3rd.
And you see they're calling the hook there, and yes, he did hook him. I'm not sure how aggressive it was, if it warranted a foul call, but they've been more adamant about calling the hook this year in Division I basketball, but that's huge. Marquise Reed with 3 fouls. We'll see if Brownell trusts him to keep him out there with those 3.
Just can't happen without being said. Taylor is the one he hooked, and Taylor's from Texas, where they say hook 'em horns quite a bit. In that case, a parallel. He's from Amarillo, keep in mind, which is miles from Austin, as you, Kelly, know, and miles from the basket that time, figuratively, was Turner. Another tray. His big night continues. He now has 14, and he hits his 3rd 3-pointer.
He shot that one from Amarillo. He has been unconscious today. He's been tremendous from 3.
And back in front goes St. Peter's. So our 4th lead change of the second half. Skara tries to answer. Tyson goes way up there for the rebound. 10 lead changes in our ball game to this point.
That's another big rebound from Tyson. He hasn't scored yet. He's missed a couple threes, but he has rebounded well.
Mitchell. Oh, look at Skara battling in for the rebound, and I think they're going to get Majak on his 3rd personal foul. Well, St. Peter's has picked 10th in the 11-team MAC. I want to see how good number 1 is in that league. Turner and company having a fun trip to Clemson so far. Devontae Turner getting it done so far for St. Peter's, which enjoys a 1-point lead.
Devontae Turner has been tremendous for St. Peter's, and he's doing it from all 3 levels. He has made 3 threes, but he's shooting 50% from the floor, and he's feeling it right now. There's not much you can do except completely run him off that 3-point line, which I think Clemson has to do. He can't get another good look from 3. He can get a 2, he can get a mid-range, he can get whatever he wants besides a 3. That has to be the priority right now when you're guarding Devontae Turner.
He's going to get a breather. I think it's interesting because we took the under 8 timeout at 7:40. I don't think they're going to hold him until the under 4, and we're going to get a 4th foul called against Idowu, who just checked back in. He has been having all kinds of foul issues, as they say. He held Thomas.
He pulled him down, and I think Eli Thomas sold that just a tad, but He did pull him to the ground, and that's 4 fouls on Idowu. I'm impressed with St. Peter's, the fact that they're leading Clemson by 1, and their second leading scorer, Samuel Idowu, has really barely played. 14 minutes tonight, 4 points. It's been all about the guards.
Elijah Thomas off the bench tonight, 8 points, 8 rebounds. Can't get the free throw to go on the front end of a 1-and-1 as the Peacocks now with 17 fouls. Tigers just 4 so far. Have not had a whole lot of fouls. Have had very few runs scoring-wise by either team. It's a game that really hasn't had a lot of the trends of today's college basketball, with one exception, the three-pointer. 10 of them made for St. Peter's, just 2 by the Tigers, and that's why things are the way they are. Knocked away, though. There's Reed playing that great defense again. One man to beat. Can't get the bucket to fall, but foul will go against KC Ndefo.
Marquise Reed is so smart in transition. See what he does here. He gets that steal, first of all. He's been tremendous defensively. And then he knows he has a defender on his back. He draws the contact, goes to his left side. He guards the ball from the defender, but still finds a way to draw contact and send himself to the free throw line.
Reed now 7 out of 8 on the night, and whereas St. Peter's is hitting the threes, the Tigers now 11 out of 15 from the foul line. Peacocks have gone to the charity stripe just 3 times tonight and made just 1. Reed on the verge of yet another 20-point game. A year ago, he had 20 games in double-digit scoring. He's already on a pace to surpass that this season.
It's his 5th game now with 20 or more points. In a very young season. Again, what he's doing offensively is just a step above what he did last year.
11 lead changes in the game, 5 in the second half. Turner. Taylor. Ndefo. Missing badly on that one. Scrapping for it with Trapp, but it'll end up being a shot clock violation as Turner could not get the ball back and get up a desperation shot. So the Tigers a good defensive stand that time.
The shot clock violation is always a good thing, but I think Clemson would have preferred to get that ball and run. One good thing about a team shooting a lot of threes is generally if they do miss, there's a lot of long rebounds. You can grab those and go, and now Clemson has to set up a half-court offense.
Tigers trying to, again, get something going offensively. Reed's going to try for the wing. He misses badly. Now a heads-up play by Jones, simply let that go out of bounds. So another stop for St. Peter's.
Clemson 0 for 5 in their last 5 shot attempts. And Marquise Reed, he's played so well today, I felt like he didn't really get his feet set on that one. A rare air ball from Marquise Reed from 3.
Turner with Trapp, and again, that's 6'4" defending 6 feet, and Trapp's been pretty effective tonight when he's defended Turner. Almost got one taken away. Turner, Taylor, and coming down to Clyde Trapp.
A great defensive possession from Clemson.
Mitchell inside, and let's see if they call a foul. They will. And that one's going to go against the big guy Majak, and that'll be his 4th.
Sheldon Mitchell not afraid of contact and not afraid of 7'1" Majur Majak. Went right at him and drew that foul.
Another one of the young players on this team is Majak. And the free throw for Shelton Mitchell, so he builds on his night scoring. He's now in double figures. Tigers have been effective at the line, and it's a good thing as they're able to build the lead out to 3 points because they've gone over 5.5 minutes without a field goal.
That's incredible, and it's amazing that Clemson still has a lead with that number, having not made a shot from the field in 5.5 minutes. But Clemson's been very good from the free throw line, 14 of 18. And credit the Tigers for being aggressive, attacking the rim, and drawing those fouls.
Jones, the elbow jumper, and Cameron Jones, they really missed him as he injured a hip against NC State. Missed the next 2 games, but returned with 17 points against Maine this weekend. And he has been a big part of what they've done tonight. And another foul inside, and they're starting to mount for St. Peter's. That one will go against Clay Brown, a freshman. That's his 1st, but now 10. So the Tigers are in the double bonus.
That's one thing to watch as we get into the latter parts of this game. And here's Cameron Jones, who's done who's really done his damage from 3, but there with a nice mid-range shot. But Clemson now has forced 10 fouls. So St. Peter's with 10 fouls. Every time Clemson's fouled from now on, they'll shoot 2 free throws. That could be big down the stretch.
Rare miss for Reed, his second from the line tonight. He's 8 out of 10.
I don't think Marquise Reed has ever missed 2 free throws in a game. At least at Clemson, he hasn't. He has shot a lot of free throws tonight.
Yeah.
He shot 10 free throws, but 2 misses from Marquise Reed is an absolute rarity.
Saw Brown, who was out there briefly checking out. You and I were talking about it during the break. You see these teams in the New York metro area, and St. Peter's has some guys like Turner who got some blood on, I believe, a Tiger David Scar. There you see him over there. They've got guys, does St. Peter's, Turner's from Louisiana, and they've got Taylor out of Amarillo, Texas, but they've got New York area guys. You see these New York area teams, whether they're a Power 7 conference team like a St. John's or a Seton Hall, or in this case a Metro Atlanta conference team like St. Peter's, but it's a tough and tenacious kind of basketball. And you go up to the New York metro area, and whether you're in New York City or in the suburbs, like their head coach Shaheen Holloway is from right there in the Jersey City, New Jersey area, you just see some real great basketball and a lot of players. It's kind of like Florida or Texas are to high school football. The New York area is to high school basketball.
And you mentioned Shaheen Holloway. He's also from New Jersey. I feel like a lot of these guards have played with his personality, with how he played at Seton Hall. That New Jersey, New York, tough, gritty guard mentality. I may be undersized, but I'm still more confident than you and tougher than you. That's the mentality that a lot of these St. Peter's guards have had.
Marquise Reed from Landover, Maryland, showing you his numbers right there as he is again stayed on a pace where he's scoring nearly half of the Tigers' points. He has 21, his team now with 49. And Reed able to play with a bunch of D.C. area kids when he was coming up. And you see his style too, as Washington, D.C. has a similar reputation to New York. Another no-look pass inside, the finish down low by Nadefo, and he's got a chance to tie us up. I should say, give St. Peter's the lead back as we're tied at 49.
And Defo, a freshman for St. Peter's, has struggled a bit from the field. He was just 1 for 9 from the field until that one. But credit Turner for making him get an easy shot right there. And Turner's so good at facilitating inside. Once he draws a defender, he knows exactly where to dish it.
Defo 54% on the season, his first free throw of the night. A 3-point play, and once again, St. Peter's moves back in front. 4 personal fouls now on Marquise Reed. So whereas the top inside threat, Idowu, has had foul issues, that is not a good sign for the Tigers. And Elijah Thomas was checked by the official who thought he might have seen some blood in his jersey, but I don't believe that's the case. So another lead change. We've now had 6 in each half. We've had 12 in the ball game.
Marquise Reed has to be careful right now with those 4 fouls. Obviously, we've talked about how important he's been to Clemson in this game, 21 of their 49 points. He also picked up one of those fouls offensively when he hooked the defender trying to attack baseline. So he has to be very, very careful. Clemson cannot afford to play without him in these final 5 minutes and 11 seconds.
That shot you saw right there, it does look like something red, apparently not enough to make Thomas leave the game. The stop and play is because they've noticed a wet spot at that ACC logo in the free throw lane to our right and to the right on your TV screen, so they're making sure that that gets dried off. So the Tigers, with this game against St. Peter's, following a run in which they played some Power 7 teams, 3 in a row, SEC team Georgia, Creighton out of the Big East, and then Nebraska from the Big Ten. And I think it's natural to think, well, now you're playing a St. Peter's team, a mid-major, before you play another SEC team on a neutral court, Mississippi State. Keep in mind, there's a mid-major coming here a week from Saturday. The Radford Highlanders, not to be taken lightly, the Big South front-runner. They went to South Bend earlier this year, got themselves a win. Then they played a number 17 Texas team and won on their home court, the same Texas team that had just beaten North Carolina. So that's going to be quite a ball game a couple of Saturdays from now. Thomas doing what he does, finishing at the bucket, and he'll go to the line as the Tigers move back in front.
And we've seen Eli Thomas do this at least 3 times, maybe 4 tonight, where he gets such good position inside. He's so deep inside that all he has to do is make one quick move and score. And that's all about Eli Thomas establishing position and being the tougher big man inside.
Thomas off the bench tonight with 10 points. .13 lead changes in the game, 7.5. And now the big fellow with 11 and 3 out of 4 from the line. Tigers continue to do good work on free throws, 16 out of 21. St. Peter's just 2 out of 4 from the line, but the way they played tonight, they really haven't been in position to draw too many fouls. Turner all the way to the hole, can't finish, and out of bounds. It'll go Clemson's way.
Devontae Turner has been so good tonight, but that is a crucial miss, as he had a really good look at it from point-blank range and couldn't knock it down.
Neither team has led by more than 5 in this game. They're tied 28 all at the break. Skara. Tigers move it on the perimeter. Mitchell missing everything, came right down to Thomas. Battle inside. Elijah Thomas has been finishing and getting himself to the line. And he has been a big reason the Tigers have turned a deficit into a 4-point advantage with a chance to add on.
Give Shelton Mitchell an assist for that one, because that ball went right to Eli Thomas. I know that wasn't the plan. Shelton Mitchell tried to make a three. Eli Thomas trying to get himself a 3-point play.
16 points for Thomas against Nebraska last time out. So far tonight in 21 minutes, he was creeping close to that. Can't get the free throw to fall, but Elijah now with 13 in the game. So Tigers coming up on 4 to play, 4-point advantage. Haven't seen much from 3-point range of late from St. Peter's. Crossover, Turner on trap, and the rejection inside. Good job recovering that time by Taylor.
Eli Thomas with the swat.
Watson forcing down low, and held ball is the call. And the arrow pointing the way of the Tigers, and they'll have it back on the other side of this timeout. Kelly, Eli Thomas didn't start tonight, but he sure is finishing.
He is. I think Clemson has fed off of his energy defensively and offensively in this second half, and he's establishing such good position inside, strong finishes, offensive rebounds that have led to 3-point plays. He's been so good in this second half. I think he's set the tone for Clemson.
And a big reason the Tigers lead in points in the paint, 22-10. They'll get it off of that held ball. Thomas, another double-double, 13 points, 10 rebounds.
In just 22 minutes, which is impressive to put up those numbers in such a short amount of time.
We talked at the top of the telecast about the fact that Clemson had 8 days off between games, with Brad Brownell pointing out not only the practice for his team, but it's the first time all season that Thomas went through a full week of practice, coming off some off-season knee injuries, and his conditioning as well as foul trouble have been some of the issues early in the year for him. But he has benefited now from maybe using this past week to get back into better shape. Looking to build the biggest lead of the night. Big time off balance. It comes down to Idowu off the force by Reed. So one guy who was 4 fouls couldn't get it to go, and another guy who was 4 came down with it for St. Peter's. They have life coming up on 3 minutes to play. Defu to the hole. Counted, and he's fouled. Brad Brownell thought that a charge should have been called, but instead, the freshman Casey Ndefu has a chance at a 3-point play.
Again, I think the feet were moving there for Clyde Trapp. That's not going to be a charge call. Clemson's attempted to draw numerous charges tonight, haven't been the beneficiary of that call. What a momentum swing, though. Marquise Reed takes maybe an ill-advised shot. He might have gotten fouled, but not exactly the best look. And then, boom, St. Peter's comes back and has a chance for a 3-point play. Opportunity
to pull within a point. And Ndefu, who came into the game just 54% from the line, 2 out of 2 from the stripe so far. Now St. Peter's showing some full court pressure. Again, the style they eventually hope to play under their new head coach, Shaheen Holloway. They've been very much a half-court slowdown team under John Dunn, who guided them for about a decade and a half before he moved on to another job after last season within their conference to Marist. Again, Thomas inside. And the foul will be called on Ndefo. The St. Peter's bench wanted a travel call, but Elijah Thomas, another opportunity with a couple of free throws upcoming.
Here's Eli Thomas establishing, again, such good position inside, that time not able to convert the three-point play, but they can't guard him. They can't guard him inside. And, Pete, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that foul might have been
on Idowu, and that's going to be 5.
Which is huge.
Yeah, it looked like initially they'd made the call, and the thought for the players on the floor was that it was on Ndefo, but it is on Idowu. However, our officiating crew tonight looked like for a moment they were going to look at replay, but that's not the case. So, rough night for Samuel Idowu, just 4 points. He came in averaging 14. And he's smarter than to get into foul trouble. He's a biology major. So he will head to the bench and wonder what could have been, but he's been in foul trouble since picking up a couple of quick ones back in the early stages of the game.
And there's not much he can do when Eli Thomas gets such good position inside. His hands are kind of tied, and he has to work harder, Idowu, or work earlier, I should say, to not let Thomas establish that position. But Thomas has been a man on a mission in this second half.
He has done the bulk of his damage scoring-wise. 15 points now in the game for Elijah Thomas after he had just 3 in the opening half. Still a one-possession game with 2.5 to play. Turner, we've seen him try to drive to the bucket a lot that time. Good defense by Trapp. Ball eventually in the hands of Taylor, and they're going to count it as Skara hit the deck. Hard foul inside. They're going to get Skara on the foul and count the basket, so a three-point opportunity as Skara is slow to get up. And I can't see if Skara's head hit first when he went down. And you see Skara going to defend. I don't know how they can't call the foul there as there was body contact, but what a nasty spill he took. But he is okay. The athletic trainer did not have to come out on the court, so he'll stay in.
Good job by Quinn Taylor to get Skara in the air. I know Skara was trying to stay straight up, but when you make that contact after Skara is already airborne, that's going to be a foul.
Three-point play for Taylor, one of their better free throw shooters. We're tied at 56, and Trapp is going to do something that no one has done to this point in the ballgame. That is the first timeout called by either team tonight. We'll take one as well, tied at 56. As you may have heard, they're going to launch the ACC network on August 22nd. 15 schools, one network, an early premiere event on August 29th. The first football game of the network, the Clemson Tigers in Death Valley against Georgia Tech. The ACC network, it's getting close. August 22nd. Go to theacc.com for more details. And good folks like that will be producing a lot of the programming. You know, Kelly, those folks you see in there rushed over from their choir practice tonight to produce the ball game you're seeing brought to you this evening. And what a game it is. 2:23 to go. We're even at 56 apiece.
How kind of them. We really appreciate that.
I'm glad they were able to wrap up in time.
Maybe they'll give us a sample.
Inbound for Clyde Trapp. St. Peter's showing some full court pressure. Mitchell, Reed, Trapp, Skara, and Thomas out there for a Tiger team trying to snap a 2-game skid. First ever meeting between these two schools. St. Peter's out of Jersey City, New Jersey. Mitchell on the drive, and the Tigers move back in front.
And that's a veteran making a big play for Clemson, taking what the defense gave him. That's a really good shot from Shelton Mitchell.
Now to keep an eye on Cameron Jones, just like you do Turner out there beyond the arc. Let's see if the Peacocks try to set up for a long one. No, Turner going to drive inside, got caught in the air. Watson, the freshman. And the rebound, a whistle. And we're going to get a hold on the floor. And that is going to go against Ndefo, so that'll be his 4th. Actually, it's his 5th.
Not exactly the loss that Idowu is when you lose him to 5 fouls, but Ndefo, 9 points. He was close to being that 4th Peacock in double figures.
Jacques, the 7'1" freshman, will come back in. So Ndefo, a 9-point night. He came averaging 8.7. He is their leading rebounder at 6.1. David Scara on the line, and the free throw's big, obviously, down the stretch for a Clemson team that tonight is 18 out of 24. Scara adding to that. And now has 4 points in the game as he's 2 out of 3 from the line.
And this is one of the big issues for St. Peter's with all those fouls they've committed in this game. Now Clemson shooting 2 with every foul, even though Scara couldn't put both of those down.
Remains a one-possession game. They were down by 3 with St. Peter's moments ago, and they attacked and had an and-one situation. Were able to tie us up. See what happens here. Behind his back, Turner knocked away, out of bounds. Last touch by Thomas. Almost a big forced turnover that time by the Tigers. The Peacocks have given it up 11 times. Clemson in the game with 9 turnovers.
Marquise Reed so active defensively, so active with his hands, but he does have those 4 fouls. He has to be careful when he's guarding the ball.
12 on the shot clock for the inbound. Turner around the Jacques screen. Over Thomas off the glass, and he's able to bank it home. Wow, Devontae Turner gave the body language as if he feels like a foul also should have been called, but he continues having a big night. After scoring just 3 points against Maine on Saturday, now is 16. That's a season average.
There's not much you can do against that. That's an incredible shot from Turner.
Oh, what a nice find that time by Mitchell. Reed not able to convert, and he is down and in some pain holding that left knee. And that looks serious right now for Marquise Reed. Took a beautiful feed on the baseline, couldn't convert, but he is down, and he looked like he was in some pain and continues to. And that is scary right there. Now he pops up, and he'll hobble on over to the bench. And I think that's a good sign, to say the least. But you see right there, and he landed awkwardly on the right leg. He was able to sprint over to the bench and holding actually his left knee. Looked like his right leg landed first as St. Peter's called a timeout.
He is sitting on the bench, though, and generally the players that are in the game sit on the bench in a timeout like that. So it doesn't appear that he's pulled himself from the game or that the training staff have pulled him, but he does look like he's in some pain. So I'm not sure what's going to happen here. It's visible that he's in some pain right now.
And obviously you only go back to mid-January of last year when the Tigers had a scary moment with Conte Grantham. It appeared as if he landed on his right leg, but perhaps his left knee, which he ended up grabbing, might have bumped into Majak, and that's where the pain came from.
And that's the best case scenario. If it's just more of like a bruise situation.
It's very odd. It didn't look like he made any contact, and it looked like the left leg was the second leg to hit, but perhaps just landed at an awkward angle. But you saw him in a lot of pain, but as you noted, he was on the bench and staying in this game.
Sometimes
1 point game.
That kind of fall too can just scare you for a second because there's so much on the line, and you know, you're a fifth-year senior, and anytime you hear of a knee situation, it can be a terrifying situation. So I think it can just shock your system for a bit. It seems like he's going to be fine.
Initially was in a lot of pain, and then when he went face down, he looked up and he didn't look to be in any kind of agony at that point.
I think he thought, okay, am I okay? Yep. Am I good?
Yep. Wow, so scary moment for the Tigers indeed. They keep it on their end. 16 on the shot clock, as you see, 49.9 to go. Double bonus for the Tigers. 7 fouls so far, and that one almost knocked away by Watson. 7 fouls for Clemson so far, so it's a 1-and-1 situation. A force that time by Trapp. Oh, you got to be kidding me. What a huge bucket for the freshman. Reed is going to head over to the bench as the Tigers call a timeout. Clyde Trapp, amazing going across the lane and putting Clemson back up by 3.
That is one of the most difficult shots, if not the most difficult, that we've seen made all day today by Clyde Trapp.
We're going to ISO on Reed, not only on the bench as the team doctor comes over, but that time you see Reed again contact with the left knee. and almost had it knocked away, but he is obviously impacted by that knee issue that he went down on moments ago.
I think he thought he could go, but at that point, it's just obvious that he needs to be on the bench at this time.
So a huge basket by Clyde Trapp, who's really played a nice game. You see the medical attention. And take a look at this hoop. I mean, you don't even try this in your driveway.
No, that's an incredible shot. The fact that he even got that off, much less made it, the adjustment in there. He wasn't even really looking at the basket. But somehow, some way, that ball went in. And that's a big 2 for Clemson. They needed that to go up 3.
Trapp 2 for 2 tonight from the field. Big buckets in a 3-point game. Half a minute to play. Reed perhaps on the bench for the night. One of the better perimeter defenders. Turner just inside the foul lane, halfway down. No. Thomas fouled by Taylor with 21.8 remaining.
That ball just rimmed out too. That was a good look for St. Peter's. Whew, Turner, you want the ball in his hands. Just in and out, and then Eli Thomas grabbing that board and drawing the foul.
Elijah Thomas has been good in so many phases tonight. From the line, he's 5 out of 7. From the field, he's 5 out of 8. For a second consecutive 16-point game, at least. And he knocks down the first free throw to get there. Tigers back up by 4. They've led by no more than 5 in this game and trailed by no more than 5. "17-point night for Elijah Thomas, just when the Tigers needed him to come through big. Came off the bench tonight. 5-point game. Turner by himself, and it'll go. He hit the deck, no whistle. Back to a 3-point game. 14.6 to go. Clyde Trapp will use the timeout. Tigers have 1 remaining. So a 60-second timeout. Take a look at Turner, who now on the night has scored 18 points.
He's trying to take the mantle from Clyde Trapp of hardest shot made tonight. I still think I give it to Clyde Trapp, but Turner continues to score and continues to keep St. Peter's in this game as we have 14 seconds left in a 3-point ball game. We'll see what Clemson does now, bringing in some free throw shooters as they're trying to inbound the ball, and obviously you're going to need to foul after you go for a steal if you're St. Peter's. This is a time where you'd like to have Marquise Reed because of how well he shoots the ball from the free throw line.
It is an experienced St. Peter's team. They come in here as a vast underdog, but guys like Turner, he's a 5th-year senior. They've got another 5th-year senior on their team who's fouled out. Idowu, and keep in mind, even though they were 14 and 18 last year, many of the players in this team were on their ball club 2 years ago when they won the CIT. While Elijah Thomas and crew, of course, coming off that Sweet 16, and Eli looking like he may be cramping a bit based on his facial expression, but a season-high 17 points, another double-double with those 11 rebounds, and a couple of big blocks as well.
This is the most that he's looked like himself so far this season. He looks healthy. He looks like he's had that week of practice to get back in more game shape, and that he's gelling more with his guards. It's a good sign for Clemson. Eli Thomas is rounding back into form.
Tigers looking to go 13-0 all-time against the MAC. 10 ties, including 28 all at the half. 13 lead changes, 7 of those here in half number 2. Mitchell pressured in the backcourt. They quickly foul him. Taylor with another personal on him. That is number 4 on Taylor. So they've had 2 players foul out in Nadefu and Idowu. Shelton Mitchell, 3 out of 4 on the foul line tonight.
He's the guy you want at the line because Reed's not on the floor. He's shooting 78% from the free throw line this year. He shot even better than that last year. And he's a veteran. He made that big shot earlier. He's the guy you want there.
I can't get over the fact that this team is picked 10th in their conference, which is a very good mid-major league. Ryder is picked to win it. Iona's won the past 3 MAC titles. 5-point game, under 10 to play. Jones with Mitchell defending. Jones taking some time. Turner fires a three. Might have been partially blocked off the glass. Down to Thomas, and that's going to do it. And the Clemson Tigers withstand the Peacocks of St. Peter's tonight here in Littlejohn Coliseum. Brad Brownell, no doubt some complimentary words to Shaheen Holloway as the Tigers end their two-game skid with a 5-point win, 65-60.
St. Peter's was an impressive team to play like that without Idowu for most of the game. Devontae Turner, 16 points for him, 10 made threes for the Peacocks. They gave us a fun one tonight here in Littlejohn.
Tigers improving to 6-2 on the season. St. Peter's falls to 2-6 and 0-2 against ACC teams this year, but they acquitted themselves quite well. Clemson now gets ready to go to Newark, New Jersey and take on Mississippi State this weekend.
A big test for Clemson to keep their NCAA hopes in good standing to beat a good ranked Mississippi State team. That's the next thing on the list for Clemson.
Big night for Marquise Reed. We certainly hope that knee injury is just temporary. On behalf of Kelly Gramlich and our fine crew, Pete Hannity saying so long. This has been a presentation of ESPN.